Alright fellas, welcome back. I'm going to tell you my car history. Look at that, it's bright that. I'm going to give you a brief history of my car history. Can you use history twice in a sentence? I don't know. Anyway, right, my first car at 17, before I'd even passed my test, right, I was still an apprentice at the time, right, I was on 98 quid a week or something, right, but my first car, right, I was 17-year-old, hadn't passed my test, right, and I bought a Saxo 80R. My dad used to take us out in it on a night, and I'd learned to drive in it. For the car per week, I was pulling out my wages, right, I was an apprentice at the time, I was pulling out £90, and I was only getting paid like 98, so I had £8 a week to put in the car for petrol. That's excluding, like, I mean, 17, you're wanting to buy like food and that, do you know what I mean? I was literally skint for the first like 2 years of my working life. By the Saxo 80R, right, our age was like 5-year-old at the time, so it was a fairly new car, but I liked it, but it wasn't like a car that I was in love with, do you know what I mean? I wasn't like passionate about it. But I sold that, then I got one of my favourite cars. Still to this day, I would love this car. It was a Cavalier JSI. This one was 4-wheel drive. It was a G-Reg. And I absolutely loved this car. I must have polished it like 3 times a week. I remember getting it at the time, and the paintwork was like proper scratched. You know, it looked like it'd been driven down a country lane and hit every bush. Like all the sides were like scratched. But I never machine polished it. But by the end, I'd polished that car that many times. The paintwork was mint. Do you know what I mean? Just constantly polishing and just buffed the paint up. Absolutely loved it. I lowered it, put some 17-inch wheels on, what I bought from a lad at work. Painted like the rocker cover, just bits and pieces. But I love Cav JSIs. Even now, I still love. I've always wanted, right, a Cav Turbo. Always wanted one. I wanted one more than the Cozzy. I'm surprised I didn't end up with a Cav Turbo. I would love a white one. Even now, I love white cars. I sold that. What I get after the Cav. I think I bought like a Vectra, and I was planning to make it into like a V6 thing, but it didn't really work. So it was just like a 1-year Vectra. It was kind of shite, so I just sold that. I didn't have that long. After that, right, my mate was selling a Nova silver one, right. Back arches were rotten, but to make it look a bit better, he got some silver duct tape. So we had rotten back arches with silver duct tape on, so it looked all right from like half a mile away. But the engine in it was a 2-litre 16 valve, the red top one. I wasn't that invested in it. It was like tattered out, have a gun. So honestly, I took this Nova out, and it went like a motorbike. It was just, you couldn't keep up with the gears. So went back to see him. I was like, how much you want for it? Sorted out a price, I bought it. 2-litre 16 valve Nova, absolute flying machine. I didn't have it that long though, kind of scared us. I was going like quite fast one day, and I think someone pulled out in front of us, so I put the brakes on, and then I had big brakes on the front, but still had like drums or something on the back, so the brakes weren't set up, and the back end literally like 70, maybe it's a bit over 70. The back end went out, and I was like, whoa, like scared it, sold it, got rid of it. After that, I bought a L-Reg Mark III Astra JSI. It was a 16 red top, 2-litre 16 valve. It was knackered when I got it. I remember I went to see it, right? The paintwork was pink, right? Knackered paintwork. 2 front wheels, one was pointing forward, one was like that. Just hit a curve or something. I went to see it, it was at a local Vauxhall Breakers. I was like, how much do you want for this? I don't think I even asked. I think young man, do you know what I mean? Just keen. I was like, will you take 100 quid for that Astra JSI? I think the fella wanted like 400 quid or something. He was like, are you serious? Aye, I'll take 800 quid. So I got this trailer, got it home, spent an absolute fortune on it, right? Got it fully painted, put all brand new lights, new wheels, brakes. Just went to town on this car. I must have spent I was on night shifts, and I just came out of my apprenticeship. So I had like money still living at home. So I just plumbed it all into this Astra. I must have spent about 8 grand on it or something, do you know what I mean? I used to just go to Vauxhall every day and just buy new clips and bits and pieces. But by the end, honestly, it looked brand new, and I was buzzing with it. And I had to put a rear quarter on it, because the rear quarter was all smashed in. But look, mint, apparently it's still driving out here now, and it's got a turbo engine in and different wheels. I put the best wheels on it. The wheels, last time I seen it, I think it was like Cav Turbo wheels. I don't think it really suits it. The reason I got rid of the Astra was I went down a car show. I think it was like a Croft, like a RS Owners Day show. And there was cars going around the track. There was like Evos and Peugeot 205s and stuff like that. And there was a 3-door Cosy there. It was like 600 brake horsepower, and it was just going down the straights, and it was popping and banging and sliding all over. I was like, oh, I want one of them. So I went to see one local to me. It was up for sale. It was in a garage, and the full roof in it was just like bodge. Do you know what I mean? It was just knackered. So I didn't get that one, obviously, but then I ended up getting mine, and that was about 15 years ago now. That was about 15 years ago. After I bought the Cosy, I've had like loads of just everyday stuff. I've got the Audi at the minute. I've got like a 2-litre turbo diesel Audi, which is, I'll keep that, let's knackered. I'm not really interested in daily cars. But before the Audi's a daily, I had a Passat. It was like a 19 TDI. It was mint, do you know what I mean? It was worth nout. But when Amy got pregnant, she was, oh, we need to get a better car. So that's how I ended up with the Audi. But I would have kept that Passat, man. It was worth nout. You could park it next to the cars. You weren't bothered about scratching it on out. And it was comfy. Before the Passat, I had like a Corsa C. Absolute worst cars in the world. Worst cars in the world for me. I hate them Corsa Cs. The dashboard, it feels like it's made out like melted down wheelie bins. It's just cheap plastic everywhere. Absolutely dreadful cars. And it was proper ticky, the engine. It was boring to drive. It was just an absolute pile of shite. Just absolute crap car. Sorry if you've got one, by the way, but I can't stand them. But that's about it. I've had like nothing else interesting, have I? Lose track of cars, man. What else? Oh, I had a Fiesta XR2 somewhere along the line. Like a Mark III, like the RS Turbo shape. Black one. Paid about 200 quid for it. What else have I had? I think that's about it, fellas. But if I could pick any car now, right? If I could pick any car, if I had a 2-car garage, I would probably pick a Cav Turbo, white one. But it's not that practical, is it? You need something practical. It's still got aircon. It's got leather seats. If I got a Cav Turbo, I would have to take the leather seats out and I would put JSI seats in. I'm not really one for leather seats. I like cloth. So it's got aircon and comfy seats, 4 doors, big boot. But if I wanted something practical for a daily, like money no object, I would get an Audi RS6. Is there any other car worth having? I mean, for a daily car, what else would you want? You would have wanted an Audi RS6, wouldn't you? Anyway, fellas, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to us babble on about me old cars. And don't forget to subscribe and stay safe. See yous.